Well, hello, and welcome to my Good Life meditation for today, February 7th, 2025. I'm calling today Walk and Think, which is my motto, basically. And it's interesting how my mottos will hopefully be the answer that I'm looking for to the challenge that I'm having right now, as strange as it sounds, being free. So welcome if you're a new subscriber. This is not a Japan-related video, although I am in Japan. I'm in a convenience store. You can see right behind me. I've got the camera situated in such a way that hopefully it doesn't pick anybody else up in the camera. So that's why it's vertical like this. This video for new subscribers is a personal video that I do every day. Well, it's an activity that I do every day that I call the Good Life meditation. And I usually record it. And I do the recording so that I do a better job. Because if the camera's running, I tend to be more thorough and complete, and it helps me along in that capacity. Also, some people tell me sometimes that it's helpful to them to hear me reflecting on the last 24 hours, the challenges that I faced, and planning for the coming day. So I like to be helpful when I can. As I said, though, this is not a Japan-related video, except that Japan is incidentally happening around me. And welcome, new subscribers. I'm glad you're here. Also, a disclaimer, I do talk about sensitive subjects in these videos. 2 or 3 in particular, I talk about death. I also talk about atheism. Sometimes I even talk about suicide. So if those things make you uncomfortable, this might not be the right video for you. You can always tell these videos because they begin with the good life on the title, and there's a little sunshine. All right, let's begin. What I'll do is 3 things. I'll talk about the last 24 hours. I'll go over my creed, and then the objectives at least, and then I'll prepare for the coming day. The last 24 hours. If you followed these updates, you know that I've had a rough week. 3 layers unfolding. First, thinking that I was missing my work. That was a couple days ago. Second, thinking I was missing America. And then third, realizing yesterday that it was more than all of that. It was the recognition that not only am I no longer working, but I'm on the other side of the years of really being qualified for my job. I mean, I could still, if I needed to, I could easily squeeze another decade out. I've got a friend, Juan, who in my former place of work, who's in his 70s now, and powering through. Now, with him as a model, I could follow Juan's example. He's still doing fine, but I'm not Juan, and I'm just me, and I know me, and I couldn't do that. So no, even if I wanted to, I couldn't do it. So this is just who I am, and I've suddenly found myself as blessed and as fortunate as I am to be able to retire in a strange situation of not appreciating it, or even not enjoying it. Now, give me. I'll need a little time. It's only been 2 months, and I hear that this is a common thing. I mean, I have friends that have gone through this and described similar experiences for months or even years into their retirement, including people who have elected to go back to work because they just couldn't find their way out the other side. And I talked about this in yesterday's video too, how I think that the human condition in the past was one where we never did retire. We just the expectations of whatever it was that we did for our work were diminished in proportion to our ability to contribute. If we worked on a farm, we were just expected less in the field the older that we got. and a chair was set outside the gate so that the old grandpa or grandma could sit and watch the others working in the field, maybe, winnowing something, or if they were fishermen, repairing a fishing net, doing something in proportion to their ability, not this wholesale, for me, December 12th, 2024, you're done. Welcome to the rest of your life. A freedom which I have never practiced. From childhood until I started my career, I was trained to be a career man. And then the next 40 years were spent being that career man. And now suddenly to be left to my own devices. Now, I do believe that I can make good use of my time. That's not a problem. I don't need to make a catalog of list of potential things to do and pick one. It's simply I need to get through to the other side. I need to adjust to this transition. Now, on top of all of that is the fact that I've made a humongous life change, transitioning to a new country, buying a new home, old home, and starting a new life. Which, in fact, I think is a blessing, because maybe it's easier to start afresh if you really start afresh. You know what I mean? So that was dealing with the last 24 hours. So that was the challenge of yesterday. And I'm talking to my wife about this. She's aware of what's going on. We have good talks during lunch and dinner, and sometimes else, and other times. And this is not unlike any problem I faced at work as a project manager. When we face challenges to projects, we identify what the challenge is, scope it out, come up with options to address, pros and cons, assumptions, costs, and then map a course forward. My course forward looks like this. I've got it in my head, but I need to write it down. I keep notes throughout the day. Every day, one page, and I write out everything, the thoughts that I have throughout the day. Let me write this down. Well, I guess I didn't have it as well thought out as I did. Really, it's two parts. The only part that I thought about through so far was we need to complete this move. We're out of our apartment at the end of the month, and we need to be moved into our house by the 25th. That's the date we decided to have the movers come. So what I need to be doing in the house, the inside, what I need to do is I need to prepare the house, because it's an old house. Prepare the house, clean out all the stuff, which I'm going to hopefully finish today or tomorrow. Prepare the place, get everything moved in by the end of February. And I just have to focus on that. All this other stuff that I want to do, and I have a lot of stuff I want to do in retirement. All this other stuff, put it on the back burner. until the end of February. Then in February, to begin to construct a new life routine, which will consist of, beginning in March, some proportion of the day dedicated to domestic affairs, reforming the house, working on the garden. Spring, it's perfect timing. Spring is coming. That's right. Securing the land next door. And then some proportion of the time to, as the title of the day today is, walk and think. That's been my tagline for a long time. I would like to walk and think, because it's always the thing that grounds me. And just like stepping out and walking around, within 10 minutes of stepping out the door, my mind, whatever is going on in my mind is settled, and clarity of thought arrives. And that's especially the case here in Japan. It's one of the reasons I wanted to live here again. This is rarefied air for thinking. Life plan. And I gave Yumiko a heads up yesterday that I was going to be a little more ambitious going into the spring with that side of myself. And what that means is basically that I'll be out walking more. Okay, so you can see that yesterday was a challenging day in that capacity, as it has been all week. I think I've said enough about that. As for the creed, it consists of 8 objectives as follows. That's someone else here, so I have to. Number 1, to be always ready to die. That means I need to have my affairs in order, my relationship sound, and my life's work complete. And I believe I do. Especially after yesterday, that transfer is en route. That funds transfer that I mentioned in yesterday's video to make sure to be able to pay off my daughter's college debt. I've got that money in place, and it should arrive tomorrow. And then once that's in place, then things are really, really good. In terms of, if I die, I don't leave any hardship behind. So yeah, I think I'm ready to die. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of time, to not waste my days. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, namely this creed. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. That one's been a little bit tricky lately, because these feelings post-retirement are ambushing me more. They're ambushing me in startling ways. It's interesting how this has proven to be such a challenge. Retirement isn't easy. I'm getting email and cards and letters from people who are telling me that it's easy. This isn't easy for me. Number 5 is to perform good actions relative to my creed. Number 6 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. Number 7 is to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, perform good actions. Oh yeah, I forgot one. To recognize true limits and true opportunities, then to do just one thing at a time and do the thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully, and finally to keep my balance. Those are the things that I'm striving towards every day. Finally, for today is the next 24 hours. So it's 6:23. Breakfast is about, dog walk is at 7, so I got half an hour. I should have brought my book with me. And then breakfast at 8, 9 o'clock work. I should call it work. I hope my goal for today is to make 2 trips to the dump. And then I want to go to Workman to buy new shoes for the outdoors. I don't have good solid outdoor boots because I'm going to start working on the outside. I think the inside's done. And then Hey, I need to buy tools. Buy garden tools. That's exciting. And then maybe in the afternoon begin cleaning the outdoors. Oh, and Emily will be here tomorrow. Our daughter's coming to visit. She's going down, she starts her new job in April. And she got herself a job with a giant Japanese corporation. And I won't say what it is. And she's part of a cohort of new hires in Tokyo, and they're sending all of the new hires for a day at Universal Studios Japan. I think it's on Sunday, or maybe it's tomorrow. And then she's just coming by. I think it's tomorrow, and she's coming by. My wife and I bought her the bullet train tickets from Tokyo down to Kyoto, and we sent her some money so that she could buy a nice new outfit. Emily's had this job for a while, but it didn't start. She secured it she kind of came back to Japan after the hiring season. Japan kind of new recruits start in like early spring, and she came in the early summer. So she missed her opportunity. So she's had this job for a long time, but she's been working part-time jobs in Tokyo ever since. And now she'll be formally starting in April. And now, so she and the group are going to Universal Studios for a, what do you call it, a team building event. I think that's all day tomorrow. And then on her way back from Osaka, she'll stop by Shizuoka and spend the night with us. So we'll see her tomorrow. And we're excited to see her. And she'll get to see the inside of her house for the first time. So we got to make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, let's read comments. Bozo the Clown. Hi, that's a new name. I haven't seen you before, I don't think. C=3? What's that mean? Bozo the Clown. Have you ever wondered what people taste like? Renaissance says, that is part of life that is clearly lacking during the active years. There's no preparation for non-working years after we retire. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm realizing that now. And it's interesting that we don't, and I'm worried about what's going to happen with the coming AI influence as people begin to be hopefully liberated of the need to work, at least they work as much as they do. What are they going to do with themselves, right? Because we're not really trained to do that. We're trained and practiced in preparing to work and then working and then getting the hell out of the way and dying, right? Dutch says, I think I've seen your name before. If you really think about it, Japan is not an unknown quantity to either one of us. I've been following you for a long time. One of the first Japan vloggers I found, way before all the rest. Oh, okay, I guess we've been together a long time. Oh, I responded to a comment of yours this morning, actually, yeah. So the final shift from SoCal to Japan should be a lot smoother for both of us, especially because we both have translators. You'd think so. This hasn't been easy for me, but I'm only two months in. I'm really having a hard time being back, and it's not Japan's fault. It's my fault because I seem to be stuck in work mode, and I've got no work to go to, and I'm not looking for suggestions or anything to do. I've got things I want to do, but it's not the same. There's something about drawing a good paycheck, Dad, and the activities involved in that, and all the difficulties involved in that I'm hardwired for, or at least I've soldered myself into being a condition of being seemingly hardwired for. I told you, Nico, yesterday we were having lunch, and I said, it's literally, for me, it's the satisfaction of having that twice monthly paycheck arrive in the bank, the peace of mind that I get from that, and the as hard as it is work that I did to do that, is the thing that I'm missing. And that's not going to be replaced easily. I need to change my frame of mind to recognize that my hard work years are done, and that it's okay to not be doing that. And, we don't have to worry about money, and just to move on. And that's not going to be replaced easily, not with volunteering, nor with all the hobbies or things that I want to do. I need to shift my mind. A. Taylor says, if you're always prepared to die, what sort of estate planning have you done? Japanese inheritance tax are substantial. Have you prepared to limit the tax bite? I haven't prepared to die in that capacity. I don't have much of an estate. All the money will go to my wife if I die first, and Emily if both Yumiko and I die, and I have a house, but it's not in my name. It's in my wife's name. The car's in her name too, and so I guess we should tend to that. I've never had much, so it's a good point. A. Taylor, point well taken. I should have some succession plan in place. So thank you for pointing that out. Renaissance says, how does your wife feel about retirement? Does she share the same challenges you have? Since she is Japanese, how much of that she shares with you? Good point. That's an accurate observation. Just the fact that she's Japanese and she might not share it. So far, she's been too busy to really have it settled in. She's taking care of her elderly father, taking care of buying the house, buying the car, all the stuff, and now she's really in a DIY, looking forward to the DIY lifestyle. So I think she's okay with that. So far, she seems to be okay. I do open the door for her to talk to me about these things, but like you said, being Japanese, she might not. And being Japanese, she might just internalize it. But on the most substantial level, such things don't seem to trouble my wife. She's a very pragmatic person who would see that the season of work is over, the season of freedom has arrived. And what's all this nonsense fussing about a sense of meaning that you can no longer have? You know what I mean? She's just not that kind of person. Hey, there's Journey. Journey says, howdy, Kurt. Good morning, and fun fact, this is the last time you'll hear from me being 16. Oh, okay, well, happy birthday to you, Journey. And Act 98006 says, what size shoe do you wear? No issue with finding shoes in your size. I wear 29 centimeter shoes and always have had problems finding shoes my size. I'm lucky. I'm at 28 or 28 and a half. So I'm always at the very top end of the shoe selection charts here in Japan, but I can usually find my size. Journey goes on, I'm going to Folkestone to go train spotting Saturday because it's going to be the weekend. Great, well, I hope you have a good time down there, Journey. Renaissance says, how far is the Shinkansen station to your house? It's about a 10-minute train ride. The local train is right down the street, about 1 block away. Go down there, take a 10-minute train ride to there, and then I'm at the bullet train station there. So it's very close. Blue Tanuki says, hi, is every room in your new house wallpapered? Do you plan on replacing it all? Wallpaper seems very popular in Japan. That's up to my wife, and yes, I believe it's all wallpapered, and we're going to replace it all, or paint it. Mr. Safety Forever says, how do you adapt to driving on the opposite side of the road? Thank you. Thank you for asking, Mr. Safety Forever. This is the 3rd time I've come to live in Japan and drive. The first 2 times, no problem. I switched sides, blink of an eye. This time it was very hard. 2 hard weeks of practice driving, making mistakes all over the place, but now I'm doing just fine. This is another instance of what I'm describing as the change that's occurring in me, both body and mind, that I'm getting old, and I'm 60 now, and as much as it seems to trouble people sometimes when I say this, I am declining, and I'm declining pretty fast. And one of the instances of that is the fact that it took me 2 whole weeks of very hard practice to be able to regain my footing driving here in Japan. Warren Aldrich says, what is your goal now? Have you articulated that? That might give you something in lieu of work rewards? Yes. My goal is to share the story and the message of my book, Going Alone, namely the Good Life Creed. In fact, I've written a sequel to the book which is called The Good Life, which extrapolates out the 8 objectives and 35 principles. So the book is written, this new book is written. I've got about 2 or 3 years of editing work to do. I just know that's how long it's going to take to have that. So my goal in life now is to capitalize on my life's work, which is writing Going Alone, to share the message of that book, proselytize the book, maybe you could say, and finish the new book and get that message out there. So I'm trying to spend the rest of my life furthering my life's work. My life's work is done. My daughter is raised. My career is over, and my life's work is complete. But my goal now is to squeeze as much as I can out of Going Alone in the days that remain. But I simply don't have time right now to do that, because we're busy. We've been busy ever since I got on the ground. We've been busy finding a house, buying a house, making the house livable and ready to go. But hopefully beginning around spring, I'll be able to turn my attention to that. Dutch goes on. I understand the daily work put in, knowing the money is coming soon. It is worrisome to trust Social Security or private pension plans, but so far, 2 years in, everything is good. I'm glad to hear that. That's good that things are going well. And I know now it's all coming back to me, Dutch. I know you're going to be here in Japan soon as well. Wishing you and your wife all the best on your transition. Will I replace all the tatami mats? No, because the house has no tatami mats. This is a fully Western style home. All right, I think that's it. And another thing, it was a mistake for me to stop coming out and coming to the convenience store like this. This is a good thing that I need to do. Leaving the house and walking around and coming doing this was good. So I'll be doing this in the future. Last comment here. Did you find the house while in Japan, or did you search and purchase while in the USA? We found the house here in Japan, so it's a bit of a story. I'll reiterate the story because there's so many new subscribers. We began this search over 2 years, about 2.5 years ago. And in fact, we were here on the ground 2 years ago performing a neighborhood search. We hooked up with a realtor here who was helping us to look at houses that we had found. I was in America still, finding places, sending links to my wife, and my wife and the realtor would go out and tour properties. They toured about 3 or 4 properties. And what happened was the local real estate network here got wind of my wife and I and what we were after, and a house that met all of our criteria in just exactly the neighborhood where we were hoping we lived. We would love to live, but we didn't think we would have a chance of buying a house there, simply because it's a very desirable neighborhood, very upscale, very expensive place to live here in Shizuoka. So we wasn't even on our radar. Anyway, this house came on the market, and this is one of the nice things about the little real estate network anywhere. They're all the same, right? They all know each other. The house came on the market, and one realtor said, isn't this like real close to the area that our realtor, that foreigner and his wife, their realtor, that he's been certain. He said they were looking for a place, because we did try to buy a place in this neighborhood, but we couldn't get it. Anyway, to make a long story short, the house was fast-tracked to us, as happens sometimes here, and presented to us, and said, hey, here's a house that just came on the market, that's like square in where you want to live. It's at the very top of your budget, and it needs a lot of work, but you can't beat the location. We went and looked at it, and it's only a 5-minute walk from my wife's dad's house up the river. It met all of our needs, except it's not a traditional Japanese house. And we got back to the apartment, and within 30 minutes we texted the realtor. We had the offer paper, submitted the offer. Within an hour, the full price offer, no contingencies, not even an inspection. And then within an hour, the owner accepted our offer. Within an hour of that, a second offer above full price came through, but they declined it because they had our offer had gotten through first. So it was a pure stroke of luck. And if we hadn't acted the way we did, we wouldn't have got it. So it's not a dream house insofar as it's not a traditional Japanese kominka or anything like that, but it is in a sweet location. And we're very pleased with what we've got. That's the story. That's it. Okay, well, I'm going to stop for now, and I will wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe, and maybe see you tomorrow. Take care.